This is Jamie with Bar I. This video is part of our Why Bar I video series where we address some of the high-level questions around why you might consider using Bar I as your beverage inventory provider. So in this video, we're going to talk about the opportunity of errors and the feedback loop. So if you've done inventory, you know that it is a manual, boring process and often creates some uncertainty and questions when you finish the results. And so one of the criticisms we have of other self-service systems is that they kind of imagine away this problem. Like the average bar we work with has around 200 different products. We've got smaller bars and bars up to having over 800 products. One thing we've learned time and time again is that when you get human bartenders, human delivery drivers, human counters, point of sale systems programmed by humans, there is going to be errors with 100% certainty. Literally, I can count on my hand the number of times we haven't seen errors in a count out of 30,000 bar inventory audits. And so you can either imagine that when you do your counts and input your recipes, you can either imagine everything's going to magically be correct and accurate and believable, or you can realize that it will not be and develop a process around that. And that's what we do with the variance support process, or sometimes what we call a feedback loop. So the idea is that each week when your managers take inventory, they submit a completed count, the sales report for the matching period, and all the purchase information, either by uploading the invoices or getting access to the invoices through FinTech, one of our partners. So that's where the situation stops normally. You compile all of that data and you have your results. But that's where there are errors. And so with Bar I system, your independent account manager receives that count the same day as you completed it, and they take a detailed review. Remember, this is someone that spends their entire day looking at bar inventory results. So they're quite knowledgeable and an expert at identifying where there's issues. So we look through the items that we're inventorying and we choose a sub list of normally about 10 items where there's a significant difference between how much you sold and how much you poured. And if there's variances, the cause of that variance is one of two things. Either it's an error where there's some sort of calculation error, like we counted wrong. The invoicing was, it was a liter bottle delivered and normally get 750, so there's confusion there. We counted the wrong size. We counted the blanco, but we didn't have the right button in the point of sale. So there's either errors or there's true variances where, in fact, the amount we poured was different to what we sold. And so by choosing or having a process to identify which items need to be checked, and then being able to investigate all the counts, all of the recipes that are associated with that product, all of the deliveries in detail, it gives you the opportunity to investigate those variances before we finalize results. And so one of two things will happen. If the number is correct, by investigating all of the details, you'll have higher confidence and confirm that the number is in fact correct. If, as often happens, and happens more, of course, at the start, you uncover that actually the reason it's wrong is because we've got a recipe wrong, or we're missing a recipe, or we don't have a point of sale button for that, or the count was wrong, you'll be able to investigate that before we finalize the results, and therefore figure out where the error is, which will do two things. It will allow, when you respond and say increase count by, decrease count by, sorry, I didn't have a button for that, we'll update the results based on that feedback so that the results are now more accurate. And critically, you get specific feedback about where you're currently making errors so that you can correct them next time. So what we see with clients is that at the start of the process, they're confusing Blanco and Reposado tequilas and different sizes, and they didn't add this because they thought it was a one-off, and all the sort of human problems. And we identify those and we investigate those big variances to start. The next week, you'll have a little bit less, and the variances hopefully will be less. And over time, the number of items we check, the size of the variances, and the number of changes we have are going to be small. But unless you have a recognition that there are errors in your inventory and having a robust process, just accepting that's an opportunity to do better, and then spending time before you find the results investigating them, you're going to be swimming in errors and dealing with the typical bouncing liquor cost and sort of problems and poor experience that most bars experience with their inventory system. So if you would like to start using errors as an opportunity in our feedback loop, please give us a call or set up a demo online, and we'd love to talk about how we can revolutionize and change a system where you're spinning your tires, wasting time, everyone hates the system and it's not useful, to a system which is efficient and effective and helps you run a more profitable bar. Thanks for watching.